Welcome, Mouseketeers, to Geek Salad Retro Movie Review from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And tonight, we continue our look at documentaries of the Walt Disney Company with one that was released last year on Disney Plus, Mickey, The Story of a Mouse. Because as Walt has told us countless times, it was all started with a mouse. Not really.
No, it was actually
started with this lovable guy right here.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So, I watched this one with my kids, like when it first premiered, because I am crazy about classic Mickey. Like my going out baseball hat is Mickey through the ages. That is like my go-to hat. I had another hat that was had Mickey Mouse on it, but it was red, and the wrong people were mistaking me for what that hat was, so I had to stop wearing it.
I getcha.
Guy nodded at me knowingly, and I'm like, damn it, I like this hat a lot too. So
I just painted black.
I can't. It's a cloth hat. So anyway, this is your first time watching it. So what were your thoughts?
My thoughts were it was a good one. It did have a lot of information I didn't know, but it seemed like it was trying to balance Mickey and pop culture with the actual history of Mickey.
Yeah.
And it did both of them good, but didn't do either one of them great.
I can agree. I can see that, and to a point, I think I agree with it. This isn't a museum piece. This isn't just here's the story of Mickey Mouse starting from Steamboat Willie and then all the way to know it does. I think it does a good job of talking about the evolution of Mickey Mouse. But the thing that we have to remember is, while we associate Mickey Mouse as this character, he is the icon for a global behemoth, and that's the thing. I feel like it's more like Disney fans like ourselves, like the hardcore Disney fans like ourselves, we tend to forget that. But people on the outside, people who are more cynical of Disney, that's really all they see. They see that it's more the corporate veneer of Disney than anything else. And that's
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and that's something that I liked about this documentary, that it did bring that, not only bring it into focus, but also that they didn't exclude that.
Right.
This was not a rose-colored glasses documentary.
No, I mean there was some
point.
Yeah, there was some stuff that it did kind of gloss over a bit, but like when they were talking about that, like that old kindergarten day school, they had the Mickey characters painted, and Disney basically told them, take it down or we're suing you.
Yeah.
Why?
A lot of that is I don't know. It kind of comes in with that lawyer character from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
When they call their fair the happiest place on earth.
I did really like, though, that like when it was actually going through the history of Mickey, when it was talking about how when they introduced Donald and Goofy, because there was Mickey was had become such an icon that nobody would accept him having any faults.
Right.
So they had to create new characters to embody those faults that Mickey was no longer allowed to have.
Right, exactly. And when you look back on those classic cartoons, the best classic cartoons, quite honestly, are the Donald cartoons and the Goofy cartoons.
Yeah.
Most specifically, the Goofy cartoons. I think that those are just gangbusters.
Yeah. Well, actually, my favorite ones are the ones where you have all three of them. Like Lonesome Ghost, the one with the camper van.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah. I know those are really good. But it's an interesting, it's kind of an interesting thing just seeing Mickey talked about in a more of a solo fashion. The fact that I did love that they actually used that bit from that Saturday Night Live TV Funhouse.
Oh yeah.
You were supposed to be funny. So it was an interesting look at this character.
Yeah. And I do like how they it was kind of like a through line of them working on that animated short, that just
Yeah.
1 minute short. That it took like 15,000 drawings to do 1 minute of footage.
All hand drawn.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, Eric Goldberg and the ink and paint guy did a phenomenal job with that.
Goldberg he was actually at one of the panels that John and I went to at D23.
Yeah, very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, he seems like he definitely looks like a Disney animator.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's been responsible for so many of the things that have come up in our, in the later era Disney. He designed the Genie, for God's sakes. But so skipping to the end, I enjoyed the cartoon, but I wasn't like, I was more awed by how the cartoon got made, more so than the actual cartoon itself.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling a lot of that is because it's 1 minute. It doesn't give you much really to focus on. Right. And even still, like, the evolution of the look doesn't change as much. And I'll be honest, I didn't actually care for the guy who provided Mickey's voice.
Brett Ewan?
Yeah.
I don't mind, because does he do it for the those new cartoons? What did they do?
The Paul Rudish cartoons? I don't believe so. I think that's. Do you know Stamnopoulos? Looking right now.
I'm got it here.
Chris. Oh no, it's Chris.
Oh, yeah. He's got like a longer last name, right?
Diamantopoulos, yeah. And I know I just screwed that up. But he's. Oh, by the way, Mike, he also played Mo in that terrible Three Stooges movie that came out in 2012.
Really? It's the same guy?
Same guy, yep.
Wow. I actually got that on Blu-ray.
But I love his voice, and that's kind of how I've associated, at least for the last 10 years, what Mickey's voice sounds like.
Yeah, Brett seems to be more of like a kind of a straight-laced, like, no faults allowed Mickey. Whereas Chris seems like he's more like the fun, almost Walt Disney type, Walt Disney voiced.
Right. Well, not only that too, but I really appreciated when they kind of came to the realization about the whole, we need to move Mickey away from being a corporate spokesperson to actually being a character again. And to just tell all these new outside artists, okay, here's the Mickey Bible. It's in the trash right now. Do what you want.
Yeah, that whole just brainstorming thing where everyone was allowed to do whatever they wanted. That's how we got, Epic Mickey, which was a really fun game, by the way.
Yeah, Epic Mickey was janky as all hell. Both versions, both Epic Mickey 1 and 2 are janky as all hell. But we got Get a Horse, which
Get a Horse is so much fun.
I love that. I was so happy when we went in 2019 to Epcot during the short film festival that they had. That's there, and it's in 3D. I could finally watch it in 3D because I didn't see Frozen in the theater.
Yeah, out in Disney. Yeah, out in Disneyland, in California Adventure, they have like this theater set up, and when John and I were out there one time, they were showing Get a Horse. And it's just, I love it when the one was like, so you want us to go from 2D to 3D and just loop that like 7 or 8 times? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that the end result was so good, especially because they did end up they used Walt's voice for Mickey.
Yeah.
Which was completely, that was part of the intention. And if you didn't know any better, the way that they put that together, it makes it so entertaining. And then you get the Paul Rudish cartoons, and those are that is honestly just some of my favorite television. Just hands down, some of my favorite television. They are so amazing. They're so funny. But the thing is also is that they are able to have fun with the whole Walt Disney Company.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
In a way that, 20 years ago you couldn't have done. 30 years ago you couldn't have done.
Yeah. I mean, hell, what was that one with the wishing well?
Yeah.
And they're like jumping all over Snow White, and the seven dwarves are just running around like mad.
Love that. I love that everybody's all the dwarves' wishes were just to get hair, except for Dopey, who wanted a dope beard. It's one of my favorite ones. That and Potato Land are two of my favorite. And yeah. And if you're at Hollywood Studios, don't forget to check out the collection of those Paul Rudder shorts. You can actually see the potato.
Yeah, you can.
Awesome.
We both saw it.
Yes, we did. That and the Runaway Railway.
Yes.
I was shocked brilliant. That did not come up in the conversation in the documentary.
Yeah. It I mean, because Runaway Railway opened, what, 18, 19?
It opened right before the pandemic, so I think it was 19 it opened.
Yeah, so
this is the first Mickey-themed ride. Was it in both parks?
Well, it just opened out in California.
Right, no. But did Disneyland have a Mickey-themed ride? Not like sit-down attraction, but a ride. I don't think they ever did.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think this might have been the very first Mickey ride.
Yeah. Which is crazy to me, but at the same time, I'm glad that they waited and made a quality ride. And yeah, but that's the thing about this is that I love that this is part now of the Mickey Mouse that my kids enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, I freaking loved the Great Movie Ride. I miss it something fierce, but if they're going to replace it with another ride, at least they replaced it with one that is just absolutely amazing.
It's not like Stitch's Great Escape, right?
Well, it's debatable whether or not that is better than Extraterrestrial.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, with the documentary itself, what I found really interesting too is how they kind of like when they're talking about like Mickey during the war and the whole thing with the Holocaust, and that was just like the kids are like sitting next to you just watching it like, okay, well, it's history, we got to learn it.
Yeah, and even like most of the anti-war thing, not anti-war, but most of the pro-USA things during World War II were mainly like Donald.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing is that the shorts were all Donald. I mean, they were working on a very compressed budget. That's why we got, the 3, collection pieces.
Yeah.
And which varying degrees of success depending on the shorts that you're watching in there. But with Mickey Mouse, I found very interesting is that once Mickey Mouse they essentially decided to just embody him. He was going to be the embodiment of the American suburbanite.
Yeah.
And he got dull. And then he went away. And he was just... and that I feel is like the big thing that they kind of mention is that because there's that giant gap between like, what was it? 1951? Oh, God, I remember having to watch those Donald Duck shorts where we talked about World War II in high school. God, those age like milk. Oh, yeah, Kurt.
But it did give us the Fuhrer's face.
Yeah. I watched one in college. I was at SUNY, and it was the V for victory and vaccinations. And it was all in black and white, and it had no main characters, but it was live action with animation built in about how the evil black blood cells, diseases are coming in to affect the white blood cells, and then they stretch out and it looks like a swastika. And I watched this while I was high. So, yeah. Now for your feature presentation.
I did find it really interesting the fact that they not only were they doing those like Donald Duck shorts, but they were also doing actual like this is how you load a gun.
Yeah,
and it's like animated. I mean, that
was actually a really good. So I've talked a few times, mainly off air, I think, about DHI, which is the Disney Historical Institute. There's a weekly podcast that they do, and they've been doing this look at the life of Herb Ryman. That's kind of the current series they're working on right now. And Herb Ryman was an MGM artist who was brought in to work at Disney primarily during the war. But they mentioned a lot of the issues with, like, Disney at wartime, and how the animators weren't thrilled with the jobs that they were getting. So the animation looked cheap. It wasn't as many frames per second. A lot of still movement and just like one moving piece. Like if you saw a prop plane, all it was the prop plane stayed the same, but they'd make the propellers turn, which essentially was just using the same animation piece twice.
Yeah.
So, so it's just very interesting about that. I never knew about that car ad. Just the car ad that Walt had no idea existed because they really domesticated Mickey.
Walt, what happened? What are you talking about?
Let me show you this. Son of a... I mean, I was just shocked that they didn't do, like, Mickey and Minnie weren't selling Winston cigarettes at that point.
You know what that animation style that car ad looked like? It looked like the Russian version of Itchy and Scratchy.
Yes. I know Kurt's on. I know he'll tell us what the title of that was, because I'm just far too lazy to look it up right now. I know it was something and worker.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. That animation style was like worker and parasite.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you, Kurt. It's just really interesting that would happen. And again, because they do talk a lot, especially when they get into the legalese about it, that Walt was so protective of Mickey because of what happened with Oswald. I mean,
understandable.
I want to see. I mean, if Disney's going to keep creating these great documentaries for Disney Plus, we need the story of Oswald.
Yeah,
I really feel like that would be. It doesn't have to be as long or as in depth as this, but I mean, you can find plenty of stories about Oswald online.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see how Disney does it, and who. You get your celebrity talking heads, you get people who are just being introduced to Oswald for the first time. They just, by the way, released that Oswald cartoon that I think you and Jonna saw a few months ago and sent the link over to me. That is now on Disney Plus.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, they could follow him, from when Disney created him to when he was taken by Universal, basically.
Right. But the thing with that is that Universal really changed him. Go check out some of those images, because he doesn't look anything like this sweet little guy right here. He looks more like a cartoon rabbit from a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah.
And it's
I believe Disney got him back thanks to, I want to say, Al Michaels.
Yes, because ESPN had Al Michaels. Comcast Universal wanted Al Michaels for NBC. So this was the trade that they made. I'm sure money also changed hands too, but okay, you get Michaels if we get Oswald back.
That's not bad.
Strangers in fiction, man. Strangers in fiction. But overall, I mean, I felt like what I enjoyed the most about this was just watching how fans get excited about seeing Mickey. I have an amazing video of my son when we went to Hollywood Studios and he got to see Sorcerer Mickey.
Oh.
He just ran to it. It's really sweet. So.
It seemed like once the union strike hit Disney, it seemed like after that he just kind of pulled out of animation and pulled Mickey with him.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, I mean, the strike was going on pre-war,
Yeah. Well, I don't think so. I think it was after the war.
Okay,
Because
but
yeah, because after that it was during the communism scare, and
right,
that was
that was
Walt's
the
big thing. Is
HUAC thing. Yeah,
yeah, he thought all of the striking workers were all communists.
I'm taking a look at the actual year of the strike, 1941.
Okay, so it was a little bit before the war. Yeah.
Yeah, because the U.S. didn't officially enter the war until the end of 1941.
Yeah.
So the dates
But
are May. All right, so it's May 29th, 1941 to September 21st, 1941.
yeah.
Right before the war.
Yeah.
3 months and 26 days.
Yeah. So it seems like once he had his eyes focused on Disneyland,
Yeah.
and then once Walt died, no one was comfortable bringing Mickey back until really Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Right, exactly. And I mean again, and they bring up a good point in the documentary about this. It's not even Mickey's Christmas Carol. It's a Scrooge McDuck story.
Yeah.
I mean, Mickey barely plays into it.
Well, he's Bob Cratchit. He plays the same role Bob Cratchit does. So.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot more going on in that than just Bob Cratchit or Tiny Tim, who's one of those weird mouse nephews that, only wishes they were Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yeah, you see them and then you never see them again.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, I enjoyed this. I wanted more, but there's a lot of like Disney history and stuff. I would love to see more on the network for. I would honestly like to see a better, just like let's set truth to power here, and let's talk about Walt. Nobody's alive anymore who actively work with Walt. Let's have that documentary. Let's talk about that. Let's talk.
Actually,
do you have the book? Because I have the biography as well. The Neil Gabler
is it the
biography.
No. There was a. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Just give me a second. I don't want to knock everything down.
That would be awful.
Sorry, my room was a mess.
That's okay. This is why we never see the floor. Oh, the American Experience. Okay, I mean, I was just about to ask, how old is that? Then I realized he died in 1966. It's not like.
Yeah, this one came out. Does not have a date that I can find. 2015, actually.
Really?
And it's 240 minutes. It's a full it's a long one, but it goes in
all right.
depth.
I'm going into. I have the PBS app.
Look for American Experience.
American Experience, yeah.
Yeah, it was a two-parter.
Okay.
If you can't find it, I can let you borrow this. This is a good one.
Yeah, I'd be shocked because for the most part, preview for American Experience. Okay, here it is. No, that's the preview again. Damn it. All right, Walt Disney American Experience. All right, American Experience. This is great radio, by the way. I will find it from there. But
what I kind of like about this one is that it does, since it's not actually made by Disney.
Yeah,
they don't feel the need to gloss over anything.
Right. Maybe American Experience should be the ones to take the Eisner story. The Eisner story.
The Eisner story. Ooh. I don't know. I think even if you give it to Disney, I don't know if they're going to be glossing over too much because Eisner is a very polarizing character.
Didn't leave on the best terms.
No.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's the thing too, is that I wouldn't even mind seeing a Tale of Two Bobs.
Yeah. That one.
Interesting.
That one we're going to have to wait for at least another couple decades, probably.
Probably, but I mean, well, the thing is that I feel like, and we can wrap up in just a second, but I feel like Bob Iger has kind of always been the knight in shining armor with this company. He came in right after Eisner, cleaned up everything, and brought back animation. He leaves, Chapek screws up a whole bunch of stuff, and now Eisner's got to come back to clean up his messes.
Yeah.
And even though I think the public perception is that, there were certain things that Chapek put into effect that were on Iger's list of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and in fairness, Chapek kind of came in at the worst possible time, too.
Chapek also looked like a thumb that had been disembodied from a human and then was put through the Wharton Business School. So it was just like...
Yeah,
at least Bob Chapek at least came from entertainment and wrote one of the most boring biographies I've ever read.
Chapek did?
No, not Chapek, Iger.
Iger.
Yeah. It's dull. It really is dull. But anyway, that's
he's not a storyteller.
Yeah, he's not. I think it'd be hilarious to just see him kind of like with his, tireless suits, just try to interact with Tinkerbell or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you through the imagination, the Imagineers right now. Oh God, please!
Yeah, we saw what happened when Eisner tried to do that with what do you call it, CP30?
Oh God. Listen, I'm just here for the paycheck. I'm not here to actually know any of these things. Mickey is easy. So anyway,
yeah,
that was Mickey, the story of a mouse. Hope you, if you haven't watched it yet, I definitely recommend that you do watch it. It's just a skosh over an hour. It really is good, and I do like a lot of the different pop culture things that they popped in there. A lot of rock and rollers who've got the the Mickey shirts on and all the other stuff, and
that Mickey museum was, I would not mind visiting that.
Yeah, one day put it on the list. So anyway, that was that. So if you have watched this and you want to let us know your thoughts on it, please leave a polite comment below. Don't forget to subscribe by hitting that button there and give us a big thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm. Mike and I do this every week also. So if you're just joining us for the first time because you saw Mickey Mouse, thanks. We do this every week. So this entire month of April, we are doing Disney documentaries. You can check back at the last few that we have done. We have done the, was last week our Wonderful World of Color? It was,
yes,
wasn't
it was.
Yeah, okay. We've done the Wonderful World of Color, Disneyland 10th anniversary. We also did Waking Sleeping Beauty. Next week, we are going to talk about the documentary based on the subject matter of this month's Disney podcast, which you can get soon and wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to be watching The Boys, which is about the Sherman brothers. So that should be very exciting. So, as I mentioned, Mike and I do host a podcast, Geek Salad. You can check that out wherever you get your podcasts, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, you name it. We're there. If you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. You don't have to listen to it. Just give us 5 stars. It helps us in the algorithm. Also, you can follow us on the socials. We're on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. We're also on Twitter, Mastodon, and Hive at Geek Salad Radio. So with that, Mike, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think so.
And until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth, be nerdful, and have a magical day.
Yeah.